Okay, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of Ball Talk live with the one and only Chase Coburn. Hey, over there. So the first thing I want to bring up is the Jaylen Brown trade. What's your opinion on that? Because I feel like a lot of times, for Philly standpoint, when they shift off a bad contract, they're not usually getting the better player. So what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm excited to be here. The Jaylen Brown trade certainly came as a shock. I was refreshing my page. I thought it was NBA Central for a minute because it's very, forget un 76, it was very un Celtics like. This is not a franchise that likes to just get in like a salary dump and some first round draft capital. If anything, they're a team that likes to just always stay in a win now mode. I mean, they had a few years after the big three before they brought in Isaiah Thomas and Kyrie Irving where they were a
Yeah,
little bit poor. It's been a long time though since the Celtics were really a bad team in the National Basketball Association, and they certainly aren't now. But this was a very, very poor trade to get rid of a guy in Jaylen Brown who was sixth in league MVP voting last year, and to get rid of him for Paul George and two first-round draft picks. It feels like it's them playing for the future rather than right now, which is again uncharacteristic to what we've seen from the Boston Celtics for so many years. It wouldn't surprise me if they have something else up their sleeve. Maybe they're trying to get a Kevin Durant or something like that. There's no legitimacy to that type of a rumor, but just putting that out there because I do think Boston is going to try to do something different, or they just don't want to give Jaylen Brown the money, and they have a brand new owner who doesn't want to go into the second apron and
right.
doesn't want to spend that type of capital. And if so, I think Boston will suffer. Now, I still do think they will be one of the top seeds in the Eastern Conference because I'm not quite sure this year's team is much worse than last year's team.
Right.
It
It's the
seems like
same thing, just the roles are switched between Brown and Tatum.
exactly, and
I
that's
heard
it.
a rumor that they might go try to get Jamal Murray if there's like a problem, because trouble is probably brewing in Denver, right? Not
100%.
really, not really understanding. Like Christian Braun, I met him before, a nice guy. He's just not like, I understand he won like a lot in college, won in high school, but like with him as a starting shooting guard on your team, you're not really gonna win much, and that contract's really gonna age terrible.
100%. Yes, I could see a Jamal Murray acquisition. But yeah, I mean, I still think there'll be a fringe 50-win team, maybe more. I mean, Jason Tatum's an All-NBA first-team guy, what,
Yeah,
three or four times in his career. So yeah, just to end this point, I mean, I think Boston will still be okay, but Philadelphia, Maxey, Brown, and Bede, they gave up pretty much nothing. All things considered, the picks weren't that valuable, at least from what we know right now. And it really does look like Philly is putting themselves back in contention. Which, if you're going to do it right, and they're going all in, which I appreciate.
I feel like I heard the original offer was with VJ, which obviously didn't happen, but like their whole thing, they were like dangling Jaylen Brown as trade bait, right? And they're like, oh, he doesn't want to be on the team. He doesn't want this. I feel like the relationship wasn't severed enough that you needed to trade him. Because from Boston's perspective, they felt, oh, I have to trade him. You don't have to trade him. You just look. Jaylen Brown understands. He's a genius. He did Berkeley. He talked at Harvard. He's a smart guy. He knows that Giannis is a better player than he is. So I think that it's just like a bad thing that you just felt like you were forced to turn it over. I also
But
Jaylen
but I
Brown.
do think but I do think not to cut you off there
No, you're good.
from a respect standpoint. I do think that when you're the Finals MVP of a franchise, when you technically finish higher in MVP and have been more available and have won a championship more recently and a Finals MVP more recently than Giannis, I mean, I think in his mind, he has the right to at least say to the franchise, I'm your homegrown star. You're shopping me around when I led you to a 56 win season and probably would have won a first round series if our team stayed healthy. From that standpoint, I can at least appreciate maybe some of the disrespect in that regard.
Yeah.
I do think it's a tough situation because he didn't formally request a trade, but like things were clearly contentious and disputatious in
Yeah,
Boston.
like
So
the
I'm
Twitch
curious
streams
what
like saying like, "Oh, my best year was here because that was the number one option." Like those like it's like not saying you want to leave. It's like what Giannis did. Like I like when players try to get out of a system. I like they just do full James Harden or Jimmy Butler and just like, "Get me out of here. I don't want to stay here. Get me out." So
right.
another topic I want to talk about players wanting to leave is LeBron. So I saw a report coming out from Rich Paul saying if the Knicks didn't win the championship this year, LeBron would be in New York. I don't believe that to be true, but I also want to see LeBron play at the Garden. It's like every year when he comes, it costs like $10,000 for nosebleeds, like something crazy. Like I remember I have season tickets to Knicks, and I went to Knicks Lakers, and my dad's like, "Oh, you could have sold your tickets for $35,000." I don't even. I'm not Spike Lee. Yeah, so like I do feel like the Warriors thing does make sense, but I don't know. Apparently there were rumors of them getting AD. You as a Wizards fan, I don't know. I don't want to hear what you think on that. My cousin's a Wizards fan. He thinks it's not gonna happen. Shout out to Alex if you're watching this. All right.
What are you asking about? LeBron, AD?
Both,
What?
all of it. Just asking for both. Like, what's your opinion on if they get LeBron? Are they getting AD? Are they just getting LeBron? What's the idea?
LeBron to be determined. I don't think the Warriors are getting Anthony Davis. To be completely honest with you, the Wizards said that they are not shopping him, that they're not even listening to trade offers at this point. And with all due respect to Anthony Davis, the Wizards owe him absolutely nothing. They traded pretty much nothing for him. He didn't
Correct.
suit up in a game last year, again due to injury, and also probably by the intent of the Washington Wizards because they were trying to intentionally lose
Right.
games to try to get a better draft pick, and it ended up paying off. But the Wizards owe absolutely nothing to Anthony Davis. They don't owe him this preordained right to go somewhere else if he doesn't like it here in DC. If the Wizards don't think they're going to get the best value in return, they're going to have him play. And guess what, Anthony Davis? If you really hate it so much, suit up, play well, and have your value go up. So I don't think Anthony Davis is going anywhere, at least for now. It wouldn't shock me if he's traded at some point down the line, but I don't think he's going anywhere right now, and not to Golden State, because they also don't want to give up Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Which would have to work for salary.
Right, because they told Jimmy, "Oh, you're staying here." Right.
Right.
And then,
and then from the standpoint of LeBron, I do think that LeBron could go to the Warriors. I don't think he's going to go to the Knicks. I don't think he's going to join a team that just won the NBA title, nor should he.
That's what Rich Paul said in the interview.
Right. From a legacy standpoint, that would not be the best look.
Yeah, could also going to the Warriors, your biggest rival. It's like MJ going to the Pistons.
Right. It's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I don't really know where he wants to go. I mean, does he want to do the Cleveland thing again? I feel like he's already checked the Cleveland box,
Yeah,
right?
the Cleveland
does he
box
want to go to
check
Miami? What I'm trying to figure out too for LeBron is, does LeBron want to be still a focal point where like winning a championship would add on to his legacy? Or does he just want to be somewhere where he can win, but it's not going to be much of a legacy? Like if he went to Philadelphia, he's the third best player of that. Like it's going to vary depending on the game, who is getting the ball.
Right,
and so
DJ,
it depends on what he really wants for his legacy, and that I can't speak to. But if I had to list the front runners, I'd probably say Miami, Cleveland, and Golden State, just from those connections we talked about.
What do you think about the Knicks center problem? I know everyone says with parity it's super hard to go back to back. The Knicks lost both their backup centers. So do you think it's just gonna get like I saw like trades for Yves Missi yesterday because the Pelicans are just trying to shop him. What's your opinion on the Knicks center problem?
I mean, they'll be okay. I mean, I understand you need a backup center, but Mitchell Robinson is not worth 3 years, $47 million.
I agree that. And then they also just gave Kata a contract 30 seconds ago. Let me check it. $56 million. Yeah, Sham just said that 10 minutes ago.
Oh wow. Let me get in on this, guys. Sorry, we got a live check-in on Sham here.
And then also
Javonte Green going somewhere. Nimi Keita, 4-year, 56.
My hope is that LeBron's gonna go somewhere. We can talk about it live, or like Russell Westbrook to the Wizards. I think is gonna happen. A reunion. I don't know.
Oh, I would love that, guys. It would be great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so Keita's going back to Boston. Interesting.
Yeah.
So they got Mitchell. That's a crowded room. Either way. For the Knicks problems, they'll be okay. I mean, I genuinely believe in basketball. I hate the panic trade. I do not want them to trade valuable assets to try to panic about a backup center. They could get someone, sign Andre Drummond. Like Andre Drummond's a fine backup center who I think does the job for a lot cheaper. Like sign someone like him. Actually, don't, because I want the Wizards to sign him. But like, don't feel like sign someone of that type of caliber. You're going to be okay. Eventually, all these teams make panic moves, right? The Los Angeles Lakers literally dismantled the championship core in 1 year because they thought they needed to do all this crazy stuff. Run it back. You have the core. You have the infrastructure. You have a team that just did it.
Yeah, they just want to check. Yeah, I also hate when like teams like they just do a panic move. Like even if they win the championship, because I feel like from my perspective, the other teams like they saw the Knicks. Like the Knicks did the impossible run, right? It says it everywhere. They did the comeback. They went on this streak. Like, every team is making moves because they feel like they're the next ones to do it. To be honest, as an Knicks fan, I genuinely thought after they went down 2-1 to Atlanta, I thought they were done. I thought they were going to get out 5 games. But then, like, it shows, like, any team, like, is possible. Like, Kawhi Leonard, like, I think the Raptors could be very competitive next year. Whatever's going on with the Pistons, with Jalen Duren trying to go to Sacramento. Like, whatever. Then I want to segment, what was it? I forgot. Whatever. I'll edit that out in post. I legit lost my brain. What the heck was in my notes? So, do you think Jaylen Brown is getting his number retired in Boston? Same with LaMelo Ball. And Giannis. Giannis is a lock.
LaMelo, Giannis definitely. LaMelo won't in Charlotte. He did nothing there. Let's look at the Celtics retired numbers. I just want to see they've retired 23 numbers. Like, I'm trying to look at what did Reggie Lewis do in Boston from a resume standpoint. Yeah, he was a one-time All-Star, and he has his number 35 retired off this list that I'm looking at. Or like if you go down the list of like Don Nelson, right? Like Don Nelson, he's a Hall of Famer, a 5-time champion. Like never made an All-Star team, was never like prolific. Again, that era you can't take everything with face value just because it was the 60s.
And then
I'd say so. Yeah, I would probably say that he should. I would probably say both Tatum and Brown. I don't think anybody else from this era though should. I don't think Derek White has earned that right. I don't think obviously Kristaps wasn't there long enough, but I don't think Drew Holiday earned that right. Like anyone else, I think it would have to be Tatum and Brown and call it a day. But gosh, they have 23 retired numbers. That's when you know you're a great franchise. We have
eventually they'll have to have a point where they're gonna have to do triple digits because all the single digits are gonna be retired. I think soon. Like if they retire White, if they retire this. But I want to hear your opinion. I don't know if you saw Jimmy High Roller's video last night about ring culture.
I did. I just watched it this morning.
Yeah, I saw it this morning also. What's your opinion on that? Do you think that has any value? If you guys don't know what it's talking about, it's basically saying how ring culture kind of screws up our perception in the NBA. Because as all you guys know, Bill Russell won 11 rings, but there were only 8 teams. So like the Lakers, they won this, but I don't know. So what's your opinion on that? Do you think it shows any value now, or it's just the same?
It's tough because there are different ways to interpret ring culture.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just part of me thinks that you have to look at how people dominated compared to their era, and you can't really mix the eras. And that's why it's so hard to compare Michael Jordan to LeBron James.
LeBron, exactly.
By the way, we can put that together.
Michael Jordan is the GOAT. I thought my Jordan jerseys in the setup. All my boys, they try to debate me. LeBron's the GOAT. LeBron's this. Like, my first video was on LeBron, right? I was saying, oh, is he going to leave? Worst video ever made, whatever. And I was like, and then I'm like, my friends are like, oh, you glazed LeBron. I'm like, Jordan's the GOAT, hands down. There's nothing better. It's just also from an aura standpoint. I don't know how to say it. Just like, you think MJ? GOAT. You think LeBron? He's good, but he's not the GOAT. But with the ring culture and eras, you're always going to have that problem. Like, people are going to like, oh, before Charles Barkley, the paint was bigger, so you can get the more layups or this and this. So I feel like this is always a problem, and there will never be a fix.
Well, I mean, eventually in every sport, you're not going to be able to compare mixed eras. But here's also the issue too is, you could say the parity we've seen recently, and that's fine, but you also had the same Warriors team that dominated for years that came back and won again. So like, I would actually argue, yes, while the second apron has done a great deal on some of these teams, it's also been a lack of execution on their part. Like the Bucks did not have the second apron hit them after they won the championship.
Right.
They just panicked and fired a coach and traded for Damian Lillard.
That made no sense.
The era. They didn't have some artificial rule created up top that screwed them up. And so I think that, like, from that standpoint, how do you look at it from because look, the NBA is shifting from the fans aspect to an individual game, right? How do you look at it from the individual landscape of Giannis Antetokounmpo? I'm not sure. But it wasn't the second apron that did it. And so I think there's not one right answer. And I don't know. I don't think rings can be the end all be all. I think there are other ways to look at dominance. Dominance is the main way I like to look at the game. How have you dominated in the regular season? How have you dominated in the playoffs compared to your contemporaries? What awards and accomplishments do you have to back that up? And I do think that over a larger scale, those could be easier to track rather than individual championships.
All right. So the last thing we're going to talk about, this to end it all, is the new rule on flopping, right? Because not flopping, the free throw rule. The free throw thing is that if you get fouled on the 3 correct, you get one free throw worth 3, and they're going to debut it in Summer League. Do you think that is to combat flopping, or it's just a rule they're going to try to do? Because I know the G League's been doing it for the past couple of years.
I'm so torn on it. I don't...
Yeah.
But it takes away a lot of the drama and anticipation of the game.
Yeah, like it slows it down. Like everyone says, oh, free throws slow it down, but it's still a natural part of the game.
Right. And I don't like the idea that in basketball, like, one shot is worth it all. Like, I feel like I don't think it will combat flopping, to be honest with you, because if you're Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right, and you make Let's look at his exact free throw percentage so I get the numbers correctly. If you're Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, for your career, you're an 86% free throw shooter. Over your last 4 years where you've been an MVP type guy, you've been an 89% free throw shooter and a 37% three-point shooter. Try to get fouled at the three-point line because you're going to be more likely to make a free throw worth those 3 points. If anything, I think flopping would actually be intensified because it would show an easier method for some of these players to actually score points. I like the simplicity of you get 3 shots for a three-pointer because I actually do think it makes it harder for those teams to score as many points.
Right. This was the last topic. I just remembered it. When we were talking about the Lakers when they're just doing everything. The Walker Kessler trade is gonna age terrible. Let's theoretically, like, let's say Luka's like, I want to go to Denver to pair up with my boy Jokic, right? Then it also doesn't give them that much financial flexibility over the future. They have one. How many firsts do they have? Can you check it out? Lakers.
They don't have any tradable first-round picks.
Exactly, and they're already like low on first-round picks after like the Luka Doncic trade. Like, I don't know. Like, thank God Luka got traded to the Lakers, because if not, that team would be terrible. Like, Luka legit was gifted to them.
And I mean that's a different conversation for a different day. I don't mind the Walker Kessler move, maybe as some others, like as much as some others. I think it was an overpay, yes, but you undoubtedly need to overpay in sports to win a championship. Yeah. Like, in hindsight, what was the
the Mikal Bridges trade?
Exactly. What was
my friend's like, oh, Mikal, terrible pick. He can't shoot a shot. Can't hit the game winner in Game 2 in Atlanta for Atlanta. I'm like, doesn't matter. Those are the moves you need to make to win the championship. Like, there are other teams that they give up so much, and then after they finally win, they're like, they don't even care. Because winning trumps all.
Exactly. So the Anthony Davis trade, in hindsight, they gave up a ton of assets for Anthony Davis. The Mikal Bridges trade. Look at the Matthew Stafford trade, right? The Rams gave up the picks that I think turned into Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, like Jared. Like, they literally traded the Lions their current roster that is a perennial contender.
Miami Heat.
They got a ring, and they may get more. So winning, as you said, winning trumps all. Winning a championship means it was never actually an overpay. And so that's kind of my thought is I think the Lakers right now, while the moves are questionable, are in a better position to win a championship than they were last year. I think the roster is more complementary. I think they have better role players. They're very much, in a way, recreating the type of roster that Luka Doncic had when he took the Mavericks to the conference finals in 2022 and to the finals in 2024. Right. And that is what worked. And so I think knowing now the blueprint that you are building around Luka Doncic, I think this roster is better positioned to contend come postseason time if Luka Doncic is on the floor than the past Lakers team. Because you're right, they were gifted Luka, but part of that was they were kind of straddling 2 eras. They've officially moved past the LeBron era, right? And now in the Luka era, I think they're better positioned for success.
All right. So last thing, who's your NFL pick for the season? Who's winning the NFL championship?
Oh my gosh, I'm to be determined, man. I don't know yet.
I'm always rooting for our Ravens, man.
Of course, man. We always got to root for Baltimore.
Yeah, but I'm saying like part of my fans. Look,
we meaning as a fan base. I mean, Baltimore went 8-9 last season. So like, I have a hard time. When
Tyler Loop missed the kick, I was devastated. I was so annoyed the whole night. I was like, ugh. Me and my cousins.
Okay, here's my thought. So here's kind of my thought around it. Last year, let's forget the injuries for a second to Lamar Jackson and the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
The NFL referees came out and said that first Steelers game that Isaiah Likely did catch the ball and they made a wrong call, and that Travis Jones didn't actually rough the kicker. Those were 2, or jump over the guy rather, encroachment. So those were 2 poor calls. If those calls went Baltimore's way, that should have gone their way initially. The referees came out and said wrong. They would have won the division anyway, because the way it works, they would have already clinched before that
final game.
So already from that, you're at 9 wins. Let's say you don't have a kicker miss a 44-yard field goal. Now you're at 10 wins. I'm not even bringing up the injuries. And then you look at the blown leads in the fourth quarter to the New England Patriots and to the Buffalo Bills. I don't think Jesse Minter is going to have this team blow leads in the fourth quarter. That was an exclusive disaster on the part of John Harbaugh.
I don't even know what to say.
I think very quickly, with an improved roster, I didn't bring up injuries once. Just with an improved roster and improved schematics and hopefully some better referee luck, you're going to be in a position where you're already going to be a 10, 11, 12-win team. I think the Ravens are going to be in the playoffs as long as Lamar Jackson stays relatively healthy. Yeah. The question is, was John the problem in the playoffs? I say yes. If we find out that is incorrect, then we got a much bigger issue on our hands as Lamar Jackson is extension eligible.
Right. Like, I felt like with the coach thing, like the same thing for Tibbs last year with the Knicks. I said, oh, it's a Tibbs problem. And then Mike Brown proved us wrong. So thank you, Chase, for coming on. Have a great day. This is
Thank you so
Romy
much,
signing
man.
out.
Appreciate
All
it.
right. Thank you.